but okay. Here we go.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fun with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Allie, and this is the season 2 finale. On today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look back at all of the things we talked about in season 2, do a little season 2 recap. I'm going to go over some things that are coming soon, including a new podcast. Going to talk a little bit about season 3, and I'm looking for some listener feedback. I really want to know more about what y'all want to hear. So we'll chat about that in a little bit when we go over season 3. And then I'm going to look at some of my favorite episodes from season 2. And we'll go down memory lane together. We'll skip down memory lane holding hands, and we will have a lovely time. So let's go ahead and jump into the season 2 recap. So I can't believe that this will be episode 20, I think, 19 or 20. I don't know anymore. This will be episode 19. We almost made it to 20 this year. So this will be episode 19 of season 2. And it's really, it's crazy when I stop and I look back and really think about where this year, or this season, I guess I should say, kind of started and where it's gone. I always come into a season kind of with an idea of what I want to talk about and who I want to talk to. And, ideally I have quite a few episodes recorded even before the season starts. That, always makes it a hell of a lot easier to keep up with everything. But yeah, in looking back at where season 2 started and how it kind of evolved throughout the season has been really fun. And even comparing season 1 to season 2 is kind of mind-blowing for me, because season 1 was really all about what the podcast name is, right? Fun with Friends. It was really all about getting out and hanging out with friends and just doing as much as possible with the people that I enjoy being around and talking to them about the fun stuff that they're doing. And that was really the entire focus of season 1. And then, of course, when COVID hit, I kind of had to reconfigure some things and do more virtual stuff. And so going into season 2, I noticed that a lot of our conversations in season 1 were focused around traveling. Especially when it came to bucket list stuff. Like, what did we want to do? Where did we want to go? Like, what were some of our favorite things that we have done? And a lot of it was travel focused. So coming into season 2, I wanted to focus more on traveling because it's something that I myself am very interested in. But it seemed that my listeners were very interested in travel, as were a lot of my friends. So I thought, why not? And, I got introduced to this amazing network of women who focus on a variety of topics within the travel industry. And so in season 2, we kicked it off talking to Sahara Rose DeVore, the founder of the Travel Coach Network. And that really kind of set the pace for season 2. It was all about telling your travel stories and different ways to travel and different things that you can get from traveling. Instead of just traveling to travel, how can you use travel to improve your mindset or personal growth. So that was really a large focus of season 1 or season 2. And like I said, it all kind of started with Sahara, who was kind enough not to only record an episode, but also did our live launch party, which was super fun. And I really hope that we get to do some more kind of virtual launch parties, because why the hell not? It's a good time. And then, we had some amazing travel stories this year. We had Carly, who we know from a couple other episodes, including a yoga episode from season 1. And she came back in season 2 and told us this absolute fantastic story, a Tinder travel story, which was episode 2 of season 2, and was just fantastic, and kind of goes to show that, like, if you kind of put yourself out there and just kind of start saying yes to stuff, you never know what's going to happen. And she ended up going to Yacht Week in Croatia because her friend won a trip on Tinder. So, I mean, anything's possible. Like, yeah, it's just insane. And then I got to connect with, like, another group of, like, amazing women and also podcasters. Lily and Sue from In Retrospect Writing Services. She was an amazing guest, and we talked a lot about branding and marketing and how to, like, approach sponsorships and get publicity for your small business and your podcasts, and kind of how you can gain visibility through marketing and storytelling. And Lillian's someone who I still talk to today, and she, helps me with my PR stuff sometimes, and is just an amazing person that I've met through podcasting and through the power of social media. And that was another really just awesome connection and episode. And then, of course, we had International Podcast Day. That was fantastic. That I'm going to skip to, that's one of my favorite episodes of season 2, because it was so amazing to have all these podcasters send in their voice notes about why they started podcasting and what they like about it, and like their favorite thing about podcasting. And International Podcast Day, definitely one of my favorite episodes from the season. Just being able to connect with more podcasters, including the folks behind International Podcast Day. So that's, top of the list for sure of my favorite episodes from this year. And then we had a few episodes about, like, starting your own business and coming out of, like, your comfort zone with Basic Wino and Dear Miss Anonymous. And then we kind of jumped back into the travel with Tour de Jazz, with Jazz from Australia, and talked a lot about transformational travel, which is another one of my favorite episodes. And then just went full force into travel, I think, for the rest of the season almost, and had, again, some amazing women from this group of travelers. We had Jazz with Tour de Jazz, Genevieve with Unwrap Your Map, Shelly with Your Me Escape, Tiffany Mosher, best-selling author Tiffany Mosher with Beauty Beyond the Threshold, How International Volunteering Saved My Life. Like, all these just badass women who were willing to come on my podcast and talk about their travel adventures and what they've gotten out of travel, and how they can help you with your travel and what you want to do, and how to incorporate reflection and self-care and just all of that into how you travel. And so it's been so amazing getting to know them. I consider them to be some of my, like, good friends, great friends, and was so happy to have them on the podcast this year. And they'll actually be coming back for some other episodes in season 3, I do believe. So they are not done sharing their travel knowledge with y'all. And then we had some the last couple of episodes of the season were kind of more geared towards kind of like what season 1 was. So we had Haley on with Haley's Comet Designs, and it was really fun talking to her. I actually got to do some coaching with her, some Instagram coaching and business coaching, and that's something else I do, and the reason I enjoy that so much is because sometimes you just need someone to talk to and to like bounce ideas off of. And I was able to do that for her and help her figure out some things with her business. And, you know, she was kind enough to come on the podcast and talk about kind of what it's been like as an artist in the time of COVID and what that has meant for her as someone who just graduated from art school. Like, her senior art project was like put on hold because of it, and you know, she had to turn towards social media because of that. And so that was a really fun episode to kind of just sit down and talk to her about what's been working and what hasn't been working for her when it's come to, you know, being an artist and selling art in this day and age. And then we had an amazing bucket list coach on, which I didn't even know, you know, was a thing. But that was an amazing episode. I really enjoyed that one as well. Having, what was that, episode 16, I think it was, Tracy White on as a bucket list coach, and talking with her about kind of what that means and how you can live that bucket list life, and how you can kind of reframe your mindset to work towards the things that you want to do, rather than just saying, well, one day I'll do that. And if you've listened to this podcast ever, you know that that's something that I feel pretty strongly about is, you know, if not now, when? We keep saying we're going to do things, but if we don't take steps towards those things, it's never going to happen. We can sit and talk about it all day long, but like, let's do it. Let's put some things in motion. Let's move towards what we want to do with our lives. And the bucket list coaching and lifestyle, I guess, definitely resonates with me, especially since starting my podcast and quitting my full-time job and kind of, I don't know, going a little rogue in the last year. It definitely resonates with me and is something I can identify with. And then the last two episodes of this season, I have to say again, are probably some of my favorites. We have Tea Time, where Katie, Emily, and I went to Stork's Rest Farm here in North Carolina and had afternoon tea, and it was absolutely delightful. And it was fun having Emily on the podcast. It was her first time, so she will definitely be on future episodes, and it's always fun bringing a new friend in and kind of introducing them to the craziness of podcasting. And then the last episode, episode 18, Nevermore Film Festival, that was an amazing experience. Like, Katie and I had so much fun participating like virtually in the 22nd Nevermore Film Festival. Got to see some just absolutely awesome movies and some not so great ones, but you know, can't win them all. And that festival has really opened the door for things that are coming up. So I'll roll into that section now. The new podcast that is coming out next month in June is called Ya Streamin. And we talked about it, in episode 18, Nevermore Film Festival. And it is a movie, TV, online, concert, anything and everything you can stream kind of recap podcast, but not really. It's really kind of Katie and I just talking about what we've been watching, throughout kind of the quarantine and the last year, and what we've enjoyed and what we haven't enjoyed about the things we've been watching, and will be recommended or not, because our opinion matters, and just kind of bringing you along for the ride about and telling you about the films we've been watching. So that podcast is, again, going to be released in June. And we have been lucky enough to connect with a lot of the directors from the Nevermore Film Festival. So we've got some really awesome episodes and interviews with those directors coming up. And that was that in itself, being able to interview and kind of pick their brains about their movies, is something I never ever thought I'd would ever get to do in my life, like talk to someone who's directed a movie. So that's been amazing, and I'm really excited to put the new podcast out and let you listen to it and hear your thoughts on it. And again, that'll be coming out in June, and if everything goes right, that podcast should be up and running for like the rest of 2021. So my plan is to kind of have podcast 2 going while I get more episodes of the Fun with Friends podcast recorded. So I'm not quite sure when season 3 of the Fun with Friends podcast will launch. It will probably be closer to the end of the year, but I am actively booking guests that I'm really excited about, that I hope you will be excited about. And I can't, it's, I can't wait for you guys to hear. But that being said, I do want to know, I'm interested to hear from the listeners, right? What are you enjoying? What did you enjoy from season 2 and season 1? What did you not enjoy? Do you want more travel related content, more business related content, or more like buddy adventure content? Because right now my plan for season 3 is to do a mix like I did with season 2. We've got more travel folks coming on to give you some more tips and tricks for traveling. I'm actually going to Mexico here in a few weeks to be a yoga retreat photographer, which is a first for me. And I'm excited to talk with the retreat leader about what her kind of yoga and travel retreat life has been like. So that will be a special episode of the Fun with Friends podcast that will come out probably in late June. So look for that bonus episode. And yeah, I just really I'm curious to hear what y'all have been enjoying about season 2. And that'll help me as I move into season 3, which again I'm really looking forward to sharing with you, and like I said, I've already got a couple of guests booked and ready to be interviewed that I think you will really enjoy, or at least I hope you will, because I know I'm pretty stoked about it. So I think I blew through most everything, right? Season 2 recap, done, check. Coming soon, check. Season 3, check. Fave episodes. Like I said, I think favorite episode from season 2 would have to be episode 4, International Podcast Day, for sure. That's my absolute favorite episode from season 2. And it seems to be on theme, because my favorite episode from season 1 was also episode 4, which was Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun, because it was my Halloween special episode, which will forever, I think, be number 1 in my heart as my all-time favorite episode. But for season 2, International Podcast Day, episode 4 is my favorite. And I'd have to say Nevermore and Tea Time are tied for second place as favorites from this season. So that's definitely where I stand on those. I guess some other quick life / podcast updates before I wrap this short little episode up. I'm also excited to be doing some podcast mentoring and coaching. I've recently been holding, I have a free masterclass. It's the free Roadmap to Podcasting masterclass, where we walk through the 5 key steps to starting a podcast, which does not include buying gear or getting a hosting platform, because in my mind, I fully believe that in order to start a podcast, you should really kind of be prepared mentally for it and emotionally, and really know why you want to podcast. So we work through that type of stuff in the free masterclass. And then I'm also starting a 4-week podcast coaching program that will also launch in June. So June is going to be a pretty crazy month, which is why I'm kind of taking the last bit of May off and decided that this was going to be the season finale of the season 2 finale, which not very exciting, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, a lot of things coming that I'm really excited about, and if everything goes to plan, early next year I'm going to have some more pretty exciting announcements in the podcasting world, so stay tuned, and definitely stay tuned for the end of this episode, which is coming up, because I'm going to include a preview of the What You Streamin' podcast. So stick around here in a few minutes. It's coming your way. And as I wrap up this episode, I just want to say thank you all so much for listening. This has been an absolutely amazing ride. And season 2 has been a great season of growth and learning, and creating some pretty fucking awesome friendships. So it's been really great, and I thank you all for coming on this ride with me. And I hope that you feel as though you are one of those awesome friends. And yeah, I can't thank you enough for listening, and I really appreciate you. And with that, get out there, try something new, and have some fucking fun. Bye! If you're like me and you're just getting started with podcasting, it can be scary and overwhelming. That's why Anchor is such a great choice. It's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast, and best of all, it's free. It also has great creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Another great feature of Anchor is that they'll distribute your podcast for you. Your listeners will be able to access your podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many others. You can also make money from your podcast using Anchor, and that's with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and it's easy to use. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Be sure to check out the Fun with Friends podcast on social media. We are on Instagram at Fun with Friends Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at FunFriendsPod1. You can also reach me by email at funfriendspodcast@gmail.com. And you can go to my website, cootscreations.com, for some fun little extras from the podcast. So definitely head over there and check it out. And as always, remember to get out there, try something new, and have some fun. Goodbye. Okay. Okay, we're recording now.
What you streaming?
Hey y'all.
Hey everybody.
Welcome to the What You Streamin' podcast. I'm Allie.
This is Katie.
And we are your hosts of this new fantastic little podcast called What You Streamin'. We wanna know what you're watching. And in turn, we're gonna tell you what we're streaming.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be a trip.
It's gonna be a good time sometimes. You know what? It'll be an okay time. That's
We can guarantee at least an okay time.
for some of you.
Hopefully for most of you.
Probably.
So this is the first, I guess the inaugural. I can't say that word.
Inaugural? Yeah.
Inaugural.
Yeah. Initial. Our maiden voyage.
Our very first episode of the What You Streamin podcast, and we wanted to just take a little bit of time to introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about what the podcast is going to be about, and give you a little background information on the types of shit that we're streaming right now, and have
all the good things
watching all
and
our
the
lives.
terrible things.
So much terrible. So much terrible. So, yeah, Katie, I'm going to kick it over to you and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're qualified to share your opinion about movies and TV shows.
Oh, qualifications. I didn't write up my resume today. So my name is Katie. I am dog mother, wife, employee, creature on this planet, and just living my life. And sometimes I like a good yarn. I like to spin them. I like watching them. I like reading them. So yeah, when I have the opportunity, I like to get into a good show. You know what I'm saying? And hell, I got opinions. If somebody's gonna listen to them.
Podcasts are the perfect way.
There we go. Isn't that what it is? Definitions. What about you? What about you, Coots?
I am Allie Coots. You may know me from the Fun with Friends podcast. If not, that's fine. I host that one as well. I'm none of the things that Katie is. Not a dog mother, parent. I'm a dog aunt, I guess. Nor a wife or spouse of any kind. What's up? Single, ready to mingle.
Freedom!
Maybe. Right? And I'm a full-time squatter. I'm a squatter.
You got squatting down pat.
Yeah. Squatting at Katie's home forever and ever.
Yeah, forever.
Whether she realizes that yet or
You
not.
know, it happens. We'll have to build on extra for when the boys come.
Got to build the compound.
That's right.
Qualifications. I was raised by movies.
Yes, indeed.
I enjoy watching movies a lot. I spend far more of my time watching movies than Katie does. Because again, I'm none of the things that she is, so that means I have time.
You make time.
You make
substantial time for your yarns, your stories, as they say.
Yes, I love my stories. Love to watch me some movies, some TV shows, and escape from reality. And as Katie said, I've got opinions, I've got thoughts, I've got feelings.
Because you can't put all that information in and just be a blank slate.
I got to share that shit with someone, and unfortunately, listeners, you are that someone.
Well, and then me.
And Katie. She gets to listen. Yeah, she gets all of my recaps.
Yeah,